Uh, Hello again. Th- This week's been weird. I can't really definitively say whether or not it's been good or bad, and so I don't really know. I guess I'll. I guess nothing particularly bad happened, but I wouldn't say anything particularly great happened. Felt just kind of mediocre. I, Obviously, there's some things that might have felt real nice, but it's nothing too big to fuss over. This week, I didn't really falter on my goals. I didn't have a single problem with it, as a matter of fact. It was, they were just very easy to do. I pretty much planning your week in advance is pretty easy to follow, surprisingly. Um, I did decide to at least switch up or properly, I guess, jot down my ideas on an entire paper and kind of just properly format it out in physical form instead of just keeping in my head. Especially with this, it took a lot more thought for this one as just like putting shit, moving shit around in my head. Because now Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays aren't just for nothing. Now I actually do something there, and it's not like I have to follow it strictly. I can do other things at other times in the week because as even today, earlier today, and never mind, earlier today, I had to do the dog poop because it's gonna rain soon, and it's you gotta wait a couple days for the dog poop to not be as liquidy in order to actually take him in and successfully rake it. Plus, it's not very, I guess, easy to rake on wet ground as compared to dry ground. So sometimes it'll be flexible. I have doing dog poop on Monday because Tuesday's when the trash gets taken out, but in special circumstance, it's fine to shift it around a little bit, change it up, keep it a little flexible. I'll still check it on Monday, even though it's like 2 days away, so they probably shouldn't be pooping that much. And I believe the ground is still going to be wet since apparently it's going to be raining on both Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, my only truly free day where I have absolutely nothing going on ever or anything ever planned really would be Saturday because well, that's the only time I ever actually end up going out most of the time. Sunday also is a time I go out, but not as often. So I have a lot of, I guess, preparatory chores for the beginning of the week, specifically with cleaning the vacuum. I don't want to do it super often, but when I feel like it needs to be cleaned, I'll go ahead and clean it on Sunday. Since I'm going to be having it to where I vacuum actually use the vacuum for cleaning on Wednesday, it'll give it quite a good many days to actually dry out its filters and just sit before using it. And I hope that this turns out well. I did put quite a bit of thought into it. I wanted to organize it properly. Thought it could be helpful, and so far it has been. I'm gonna keep utilizing it until I guess I don't know, fucking forever. Maybe I'll make a new one because I've got new responsibilities or something like that. But this is how I want to format my week in general. This is how I want to have things get done. And then emotionally, well, I think Usually when stories give rise to a change within me, I find it difficult to notice that change um, until I either think on it for like a month, or I end up watching a video kind of explaining exactly what, or I guess anecdotally explaining something related to said story. Oftentimes, I find myself pausing a YouTube video to talk to myself, which formulates my thoughts and kind of kind of has let me form and understand who I am. And recently, I've been tackling the idea of shadows. I've been playing the Persona games for fucking ages now, but it's only until recently that I've actually started to properly think about shadows as a concept and not just as a made up in-game enemy. It while I played Persona 5 first, it only took it Persona 4, and while I am currently playing Persona 3, Persona 4 is the only one that actually, I guess, tackled shadows in a way that I thought was like super interesting. Because 5 just makes shadow versions of people out to be the bad guys. And 3 has, instead of just having shadows of people, it's just like manifestations of Arcana cards from Tarot, which just there's nothing to it. There is no message with that. They both tackle how shadows are like the other self of a human being, but they don't do it like Persona 4 does it. In Persona 4, you are fighting shadows, but your first actual introduction to fighting a shadow is through one of your future teammates having to confront their own shadow, and through them having to stop fighting it, having to accept their shadow for the fact that it is them. Unlike Persona 3 and 5, I think it tackled that concept way more in a way proper way. And I, even though I have some unfinished business with the game, it definitely changed my outlook quite a bit. I'd say it changed me a little bit. It took me a bit to realize it, but that's also because I was getting a bit of an overload of information. Needed to I needed to take my time, ironically enough. These games so far have just led me to have a lot of discoveries about myself, about my own toxic behavior, and about, I guess, coping mechanisms for trauma that I didn't even understand. I probably still don't, and I probably still have to think about it a lot longer in order to fully understand it, but right now I think I'm fine. I will end up thinking on it more because that's just kind of who I am. But it's the first step, I suppose. I was up until this point in most of my life fighting my shadow instead of acknowledging what it is and sort of accepting it. It is still a part of me, and I kind of gotta welcome it with open arms, whether I want to or not. Well, other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. I think I think that's all the major thoughts off my mind that are not extremely personal and stuff that just straight up does not need to be said on the internet. So uh, I should I, I should talk to my friends about those ones. But guess I'll see myself next week.